Okay, guys, in this question, I am going to show you how to graph the function f of x equals log with base 7 of x using MyOpenMath, and also how to determine the domain, range, and vertical asymptote. We're actually going to start with the domain. So what we do know is that logs of negative numbers and 0 are undefined because it's not possible to get, if you raise 7 to any power, you're never going to get a negative number. So can I get a negative number like that? No. No, impossible. For example, if you try to raise 7 to the power -1 and you think that's -7, that's not -7. That's actually 1 over 7. So any negative power here will not help you. And also there is no way to get 0 either. Because, for example, 7 to the power 0 is not 0. That's 1, actually. So logs are undefined for negative numbers and 0. And therefore, what we need to understand is that this argument of the log has to be a positive number. So we're just going to say that x is greater than 0. And that's going to be our domain. Now, in interval notation, that's going to look like 0 to infinity because 0 is not included. So that's going to be 0 to infinity. So remember, 0 is also not okay. Now, for the range, log is a power. And powers can be any numbers. So this is going to be actually negative infinity to positive infinity. Finally, for the asymptote, what you would do is you would just make whatever is in parentheses, whatever is the argument of the log, equal to 0. So in this case, this is just going to be x equal to 0. And that's going to be over here. Now, in order to graph the log, we need to graph the asymptote, and also we need two values. Now, those values have to be integer x and y coordinates. So in order to do that, what we need to do is get 2 points that would belong to the graph of this function. So let's see if we can find out what x values would work. No, I cannot use 0, obviously, because I just told you that log of 0 is undefined. So let's try 1. So what is log with base 7 of 1? Well, we are looking for a power that we can raise 7 to and get 1. So you can see that if you raise 7 to the power 0, that's actually going to give you 1. So log is the power. Log is the power, and the power is 0. So log of 1, I want you to remember, regardless of the base, is always going to be 0. So we already found 1 point, 1, 0. Let's see if we can come up with the next point. Now, if I plug in 2 for x, so for example, I can plug this and I will get log with base 7 of 2. Then unfortunately, I cannot really simplify that. That's going to be some decimal number that there is no way for me to get an integer here. And I can keep going until I get to 7. Why would 7 work? Because if I take log with base 7 of 7, and then I ask myself, what is that? In other words, 7 to what power is 7? The answer would be 1. So I just figured out that it's going to be an integer value. So 7 to what power is 7? The answer is 1. So this right here is 1. So now I have 2 points, 1, 0. And I also have another point, 7, 1. And now I can graph the log. So what I do is, first of all, I need to select the graphing tool. In the graphing tool, I need to select the log, which would be right here. Then I'm going to click on the axis to select the asymptote, because remember, that's x equals 0. That is the same thing as the y-axis. And now we want to plot 1, 0. And now also we want to plot 7, 1. So 7, 1. And here we have the log.